Okay, today we're going to work on lesson 7.9. Now we're going to take our factoring to the next step. We're going to use the tool of factoring to solve quadratic equations. We've solved ones just like this before. We'll run through how we did it. We used the zero product property. Remember, the zero product property tells us that if two things are multiplied to equal zero, then either the first thing equals zero or the second thing equals zero or both. We're going to focus on the or both portion. So to solve this equation, I notice here that I have two things, x plus 4 and 2x plus 1. Those two things are multiplied to equal 0. So to solve this, all I need to do is take the first thing, x minus 4, set it equal to 0. Take the second thing, 2x plus 1, set it equal to 0. Now if I solve each one of these individually, I can have the solution to my equation. So let's look at the one on the left here first. I have x minus 4 equals 0. I need to get the x by itself. I need to get rid of the 4. It's stuck with subtraction. I'm going to unstick subtraction by adding 4 to both sides, and I get x equals 4. There's our first solution. That's a really bad circle, but we'll let it go. Next one, 2x plus 1 equals 0. We need to get the x by itself. I notice that there's a 1 stuck over here. Remember, we got to do PEMDAS in reverse, so we got to get rid of this addition and subtraction first. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, leaving 2x on the left, 0 minus 1, negative 1 on the right. Now I need to get rid of the 2. It's stuck with multiplication. I undo multiplication with division, and I get x equals negative 1/2. Now you can leave it just as a fraction if you're more comfortable as writing it negative 0.5. You are certainly welcome to do that, but leaving it as a fraction is just fine. There is our second solution. Okay. Now that was solving equations that were in factored form, right? So this equation on top was in factored form. Here's another quadratic equation. We're going to solve this one using a similar strategy, but we have one extra step. Notice this equation is written in standard form. And we don't really know how to solve equations directly from standard form. However, if we can somehow rewrite this equation into factored form, then we could solve it. So let's take a look at this equation. I have x squared plus 8x plus 12. Remember, I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 12 and they add to positive 8. Okay, they multiply to positive 12, add to positive 8. I start listing the factors. 1 and 12, not 1 and 2, 1 and 12, but that adds to 13. 2 and 6, that adds to 8. Notice I found my factored pair. So I can factor this equation now, factor this expression on the left as x plus 2 times x plus 6, and that is all set equal to 0. Notice now what we have is we have an equation in factored form. And that is the key. Rewrite your equation in factored form. Have it in factored form, set equal to 0. Now I can use the zero product property. I have two things multiplied to equal 0. The first thing is x plus 2. I could set that equal to 0. The second thing is x plus 6. So I can set that thing equal to 0. Now if I solve each of these individually, I have my solutions to the quadratic. Subtract 2 from both sides to get the x by itself. 0 minus 2, negative 2. Or I can subtract 6 from both sides, canceling the 6's. I get x by itself, 0 minus 6, negative 6. There are my two solutions. So all of these problems that you're going to do down here, all you have to do is take these equations that are written in standard form and rewrite them in factored form.